Stay with us here on the Pulse. Now, it is exactly 15 days to the rerun of the elections in the Kpandai constituency, raising questions about the Electoral Commission's preparedness towards that said event. Now, while those answers are expected to be answered in the coming days, a fresh Global Info Analytics polls already points to a tightly contested race. The survey shows NPP's Machi Indam narrowly leading the NDC's Daniel Insala Wakpal with 50% against 46%. The independent candidate is also trailing with 1%, that is Eric Donko, while 3% of the voters remain undecided. The polls was conducted between December 11 and 13, 2025 among 1,035 voters with a margin of error of plus minus 3.9%. Now, on your screens now are just excerpts of that findings, summary of that findings from Global Info Analytics. And it just highlights some of the key things I've told you already, that indeed Machi Indam, the NPP's candidate, polled 50% out of the number of individuals they sampled their opinions, while we had Daniel Insala Wakpal attracting some 46% of the vote. 1% of the vote went to Donko Eric Nipani, while 3%, we told you, undecided. Now, when it comes to the race, they tell us based on their findings that it is statistically dead hit, as Machi Indam is leading within the poll margin error of plus minus 3.9%. The poll shows that 2% of voters who voted for Machi Indam have switched their votes to Daniel Wakpal, but some percentage have also switched from Wakpal to Indam. So quite a change in perception over the past few months since the last election was held. However, the polls also show that 28% of voters who voted for Eric have switched their votes to Machi Indam, giving him a lifeline. Now, when it comes to the performance of Machi Indam in the short sting in the current parliament, 3% of the voters rated him excellent, while 32% very good, 36% average, 29% rated him poor or very poor. And that's according to their findings. Overall, voters in the Kpandai constituency, they believe that Ghana is heading the right direction because they also sampled the views of the voters when it comes to the direction of the country. According to them, 66% of voters believe Ghana is headed in the right direction compared to 26% who said wrong direction with further 8% saying they have no option. So those are summaries of the finding, and you can find that on myjournline.com. Just tabling some of the key things they found in their polls and why exactly this is important. They sampled some 1,035 voters in that constituency. Well, now let's get on the phone lines. It's a good time for me to take you actually to Kpandai and just get a sense of what is happening on the grounds. We have been engaging some individuals, so we'll take you there shortly. But Eugene Boache is at Global Info Analytics. He's been providing further perspective to this polls they conducted in an earlier interview. Conducted
between 11th and 13th of December, which was just last year, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. Sorry, last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And, you know, like we usually do, we wanted to find out what the people are currently thinking. I mean, since the High Court's ruling that there should be a rerun in the Kpandai constituency. And then, I mean, we had some very interesting views coming from the people. And one thing that I would like to correct is that we actually surveyed or spoke to 1,065 respondents. So the sample size was 1,065. You got a margin of error right, and then also the confidence level, which was 99%. And in the poll, I mean, we can see that Honorable Machi Indam is leading currently by 50%. And then this is our baseline poll. I mean, there's going to be another one in the coming weeks.
Okay.
Or the coming days. Yeah, so it shows that Honorable Machi Indam is leading by 50%. And then Daniel Wapao, Honorable Daniel Wapao, Mr. Daniel Wapao, by 46%. One thing that really, stuck out was the fact that the president's job approval is, up there about 66%. And ordinarily, certain people would think that because of this kind of new wave, everything seems to be going well for the NDC and then the President John Dramani Mahama's second stint as president of Ghana. It could automatically translate into the NDC candidate winning the seat, but that's not the case. We saw that in December 2024, those who voted for Honorable Daniel Wapao, 2% of them have switched base to Honorable Martin Yindam's camp, and then vice versa. We also saw that about 29% of those who voted for another candidate, aside these two aforementioned candidates, are switching base or camp to Honorable Martin Yindam. So they are saying that 29% of those who voted for another candidate are saying that they are going to vote for Martin Yindam. The rest said that they were not going to disclose who they were going to vote for.
Okay.
Interestingly, those who said they will not vote amounted to 100%, and then all of them were sympathizers or people who support Daniel Wapao, which begs the question of what exactly could be wrong. What could result into such a high number of people saying they are not going to vote, and then all of them coming out of, being sympathizers of or supporters of Daniel Wapao. So when you look at all of these things, it gives you the notion that people still want Honorable Martin Yindam to be the MP of Kpandai constituency. Majority of them as a start.
Well, join me now on Zoom right here on the pulse is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Kpandai. I also have Haruna Mohammed, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Also joining us here on the pulse is a rep from the Electoral Commission, the Deputy Director of Research at the EC, Alfred Tete. We will be speaking to them shortly. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. But first, let me take you to Kpandai constituency this afternoon on the pulse, just to show you how things are shaping up there. Join us now from the constituency is our Northern Regional Correspondent, Martina Bugri. Martina, you're on the grounds. How is campaign going so far?
So for the campaign, it's going on well. The NDC yesterday had a meeting with 152 their electoral areas to discuss the rerun and how they would approach this election. We are told that leadership from the national and the region were part of these meetings. Even though the unfortunate didn't happen where one person died, what I'm being told that the family has taken the big fight to still do their campaign while make time to mourn NPP. And so for the campaign, it's ongoing. Now, the MPs are not campaigning.
Martina, you have to position rightly. I seem to be losing you intermittently whilst you're making your point. You were just telling us about this individual. For individuals who have not been following that story, this afternoon we know that there was a news conference held in Kpandai constituency, and the NDC says that the individual in question who is dead is not a member of the party. Can you just clarify for me what exactly they said during that news conference and give our audience a background as to this update to the story you're providing?
Okay, so yesterday around 4:30, somebody was stung to death by bees in the constituency, and it was gathered that he was an NDC member. Now, reports had gone out that there was a meeting of NDC executives and the bees distracted the meeting, which implies that the gods are not happy with what is happening. But contrary to that, the NDC this morning held a conference to tell their side of the story. They said they held the meeting. It ended at 2 p.m. and this individual who had picked somebody were returning home to their village when the incident happened around 4:30. Now, the clarity is that he had gone to the Kpandai Chief Palace to represent his chief. And after that meeting, he headed to the center where the NDC were holding their meeting to go back with somebody who had picked him. And so he wasn't directly part of the meeting, but he had come there because he needed to go home with somebody who was in that meeting. And so that was the clarity they offered this morning.
And so far, I'm sure residents have heard about this polls. What is their response to it, knowing fully well that based on the polls, marching in them is leading?
Now, there have been divergent views on this poll. Some say that it doesn't matter what the research is saying. It doesn't matter the discussions on television and radio. What they know is that they have made up their mind. They want development. And as it stands now, the NDC is the government in power, and they believe that once it is the government in power, the MP who is aligned to that government likely can bring them development than somebody who is in the opposition. And so for them, they would go with the NDC. Now, those who voted for Matthew Nendam in the last election and are saying they will vote this time for the NDC, they also hold the view that he's done well, but as it stands now, he will not be the very person to be able to lobby to get them votes. But some also believe that they can get to the polls and change their mind as to who to vote. So we can take a view of some of the information we got.
And we will be listening to that shortly. Whilst we wait for that, thank you so much, Martina, for that update. But let me bring in Tanko Computer at this point in time. But just before we bring in Tanko Computer, let me let you listen to the residents, and then we'll be right back.
And our research there, and our prediction there, make me about say a bam, and at the same time, so in bam, and I don't do Nipa be butina bano ebi a polling station ho na obesan adwen say ebi a nipa we na meet member mpuntu e na Kpandai so yegina asem sisi a obi ani ahu e na yate ye mpuntu enti obi akwa wa wankasa wonum bebi a obetu abana ma mitimi kasa tuma we but mpuntu ahu hia no wankasa wagi mekiro say tuma asimasi ono de wa be research akọ but akada ana omo a obetu abano eno de wonsan no en san fa no humbie danu duru a e be kire bibia me da wase onu abadan anase onu anya abadan abe on the research onu asinya ni phobia anase amanphobia anya I investigate akọ ground so me say onu for sha Matthew strong e wa but the end the sada no bia che e be say sada no be because enyo me be pampo aba amu in the sada no bia ne nsa ne be tro bia onu be ko ni ama no e bia wo mu say Matthew is strong. But when that day comes, you might not know who will be winning. And so when you have fact check any media and on what predict who said this person is strong down into on no one to me predict and ma obia ordinance and answer obia ordinance and I'm obia also on the winning and answer on the dinner the constituency and police you cannot tell that person what to do. And so no one and a prediction and see a cut down and
well, it's a good time now to bring in the two main political parties. If you don't speak to some of the key things they were saying there is that some residents there, they're not enthused about this polls. They have the opinion that on election day, which is in coming 15 days, they will decide where exactly they'll be leaning towards. Now, let me bring in Haruna Mohammed, he's Deputy General Secretary for the NPP. I also have with me Rashid Tanko Computer, Director of IT and Elections, Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC. And then I also have a rep from the Electoral Commission as well, joining the conversation. Let me start with the Electoral Commission. Thank you so much, Alfred Tete. He's Deputy Director of Research at the EC. I want to find out, how prepared are you for the upcoming rerun?
Thank you very much. And good afternoon to our listeners. In terms of the preparedness of the Electoral Commission, as indicated in the press release that we sent out, the elections will be conducted on the 30th of December 2025. And because it's a rerun, I heard you saying that Info Analytic said there is no independent candidate in that. We have the NPP candidate, the NDC candidate, and the ACP candidate. Those are the candidates that contested the 2024 December elections. And because it's a rerun, this same candidate are those that we are expected to be on the poll, on the ballot paper. And actually, these are the people that will contest the elections. In terms of the preparation, we are aware, apart from the ruling of the Tamale High Court, we are aware that there has been an appeal and then interpretation at the Supreme Court as well. As a law-abiding institution, we fix the date on the 30th. We don't know what will happen from the appeal and then the Supreme Court. And whatever happens, for now until the appeal court or the Supreme Court ruled otherwise, we are going by our 30th December date as the date for the conduct of the elections. And as you may know, we conduct our trainings within 5 days to the poll. We don't train so early and so late to the elections. We make sure that we conduct our trainings within 5 days to the day of the elections, so that the processes will be fresh, the procedures will be fresh in the minds of the polling officials. In terms of ballot paper printing, as the political parties that are with us on the line, they know, we'll give them specific dates when we are supposed to print the ballot, because these are ballot papers that we printed before. And having same candidate, it's quite easy that we can do this 66,850 voter population ballots plus 2% within a day or two. So this, we are within time. Training, I've said that within 5 days we should be able to do it. And the movement of ballots Kpandai, we should be able to do it within 2 days. So in terms of preparation, we are ready for the 30th until anything otherwise comes from the Supreme Court or the Appeal Court. And as I said, we are expecting 66,850 voters within the Kpandai constituency to go to the poll. The last time we recorded 78 to 79% of turnout in 2024. We don't know what will happen on the 30th, but that's the number of voters that turned up in 2024.
And then, so far, logistically speaking, are you ready in terms of all the items you need on that day? And then another quick concern that has been raised, when will the notice of polls be published?
Yes, we're going to publish notice of poll for the elections. It's a rerun, so we'll publish notice of poll to inform the public, especially those in Kpandai, about the conduct of the rerun, and then the printing of ballot papers.
When will you do that?
Yes, you said?
I wanted to know when.
We can do this. We have 15 days.
Okay.
These things can be done within 10 days.
So based on your calendar, when exactly would you be doing it?
For now, if I'm aware, I can't recall exactly which court is handling on the 15th and then on the 16th. I am aware that either the Supreme Court is coming out on the 16th or the 15th, and the Appeal Court is coming out on the 15th or something. So for us, the officials, in terms of recruitment, we are in the process of recruiting, and as you may know, the 152 polling stations will recall the officials that will be conducting the elections. What is required is that we don't print the ballot papers in Kpandai. Everything is done in Accra. Everything is done in Accra. And like I told you, within 10 days, all these things can be done.
Okay. With this 41 disputed polling stations, what extra measures are you putting in place so that we do not have a recurrence of these concerns about the outcome of the elections?
Well, it was 41 polling stations that were disputed at the court, but the court ruled that we have to go and rerun the 152 polling stations. So our preparedness is towards the 152 polling stations and not the 41 polling stations.
And so far, everything is on track based on what you tell me. But stay with me. Let me bring in the political parties directly involved in this. Haruna Mohammed is with the NPP. He is the Deputy General Secretary. I also have with me Rashid Tanko Computer, Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC. We appreciate your time. I'd like to start with the NPP. So far, how is campaign ongoing on the grounds? Are you even campaigning?
No, we are not campaigning.
You're not campaigning?
Yes.
Is there a reason why?
You know the reasons. We are living in a democratic country, and you've listened to the EC. The EC just tells you that they are going by their date, but they are waiting on the outcome from the Supreme Court or the Appeals Court, probably making a reference to the stay of execution ruling. So I don't think that we should be campaigning ahead of this particular pronouncement. We have decided to go to court, and we are going to follow this through until the court decides otherwise. We are not campaigning in Kpandai. And at the end of the day, if the court says that we should go for elections, why not? We'll go and take what belongs to us. So we are in court. We are not campaigning.
But you don't have time on your hands, 15 days to the elections.
Time is very important, and law is more important. If we should all throw the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to the dogs and allow procedures to be misused and do anything untoward that will affect the democratic dispensation we have, then that is very unfortunate. We are very confident that if we are going to apply the law, then I don't think that the Kpandai election should be coming on. But if it is that we are going to throw the laws to the animal farm and also use the likes of dictators like Idi Amin, and ensure that somebody's right hand must be washed and the other one's feet should be washed, then that is what the state is going to. So for we are very confident that the law will speak. If the law decides to speak anyhow and did not speak on the direction of the law, because it has happened, there is precedent and the law is very specific. So if that is thrown away, then the party will have no option than to go and take what belongs to us.
You say procedures have been breached. Can you explain to us the ideal situation according to the NPP?
Well, thank you very much for asking for the ideal situation. We have laws that we use for elections in Ghana. One of the primary laws that we use for elections in Ghana is CI 127. And when elections are completed based on CI 127, and there are infractions that you think that you need to challenge, you need to go to the High Court. And specifically when you are going to the High Court, there are rules that indicate how you should go to the High Court. And in going to the High Court, you are mindful of PNDC Law 284, Section 18(1)-2. That tells you that after the Gazette notification, you are supposed to go to the court to challenge the elections within 21 days and also pay the security of cost. And in this particular case, the NDC went and filed their case in court on the 25th of January and also paid the cost on the 27th of January. Then you check the Gazette notification, the official Gazette notification, which has been accepted by the Supreme Court on the 11th of June 2025, when we were doing the case for Akwetia, which falls in line with the same as Gazette notification for the good people of Kpandai, indicates that it is 24th of December 2024. So if the law it says that it's 21 days, and you go and file way ahead of 32 days, which is out of time, and the law will not speak on the law, then it is lawless.
Stay with me, Haruna. Let me bring in Tanko Rashid Computer. You're on the grounds campaigning. How is it going for you?
Good afternoon to you, dear, and then good afternoon, Alhaji Haruna. I can assure you the NPP is campaigning in Kpandai. We are with them in Kpandai. They are there campaigning. They come here and do propaganda and let people know that they are pursuing legal, but nothing. They are doing campaign. They are vigorously in the constituency all over the place. And then we are crisscrossing with them there. Yesterday, our team national officers were in the constituency to have meeting with all our branch executives and all that. And we met them. We met the NPP group also doing their own thing over there. So just ignore them. For them, they know their propaganda. They will tell you they are not campaigning. You remember what happened to Ablekumanov when they indicated they were not participating in the elections? They did press conference and rubbished the Electoral Commission and everybody and said they were not participating. But you saw the D-Day. Less than 14 hours to the election, they zoomed into the constituency. They were all over the place. They deployed national officers at Ablekumanov and even created confusion at polling stations. So for NPP, when they are speaking, please be careful with their words. When they are telling you something, be careful with it. They don't mean what they are telling you. And so I can assure you they are there. They are in the constituency. So we are there. We are campaigning vigorously. We are preparing ourselves for the 30th, and we are going to win massively.
But then there's a case in court, and we've just been hearing from Haruna tell us that the outcome of that case in court will be actually the determinant as to if indeed that rerun will happen. Aren't you also expectant from that case in court?
You know, the NPP, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I don't understand them. They should stop this propaganda and let us all face it. Yes, you went to Supreme Court on certiorari right, asking the Supreme Court to quash the decision of the High Court. And he's just saying that we filed on 25th. I'm having here, the other time I gave it to your producers and they put it out there. The written address of their lawyer, the first respondent, Martin Yindam, the lawyers of the NPP, who represented them for the 11 months in court. He knew along all this while, look, at case management, nothing of that matter was raised because they knew that we had filed within time. What we filed actually was based on the Gazette notification, which was done on 6th January 2025. We have it. We have the Gazette, which was used in court.
When did you file? What specific date did you file your case?
The first one we filed was on 23rd December 2024. And the NPP went to court quickly with a motion asking the trial judge to strike it out because that the election was not gazetted. The results was not gazetted at that time. So we had filed when there was no gazette. And then they brought in, through Electoral Commission, the 6th January one, which is 6th January, it was Monday, 6th January 2025, as gazette document from Electoral Commission, having gazetted the thing on 6th January to indicate that what we have filed was not proper. So we withdrew that one and filed proper one on 25th, which is now within.
So it's safe to say you filed on the 25th?
Yes.
And then it backs his argument that you filed way beyond the time allocated for you to appeal the results.
No.
Okay.
6th January. Calculate 6th January. If Gazette is 6th January 2025.
But you say you withdrew the 6th January one, right?
No, you are not following the truth. I'm saying that the 23rd one was withdrawn.
Okay.
The 23rd December one was withdrawn. And then we filed a fresh one on 25th January. Now, if we calculate 6th January to 25th January, how many days? That is what we are saying. They are wasting everybody's time at the Supreme Court. They'll be thrown out. When they are dismissed, then they will come crying again. Because they are wasting. Look, for 25th January all the way to 24th November, they never raised an issue of whether we are competent enough to move an application of that nature.
Okay.
They went through cross-examination to the extent that the last day, on the 14th of November, 2025, written address filed for and on behalf of the first respondent by counsel for first respondent. Was the man sleeping when he was writing this thing? The counsel, was he sleeping? Didn't he see these things? Didn't he know of this thing?
Okay.
So they're wasting everybody's time. There's nothing.
Tanko, let me get your reaction to this polls put out by Global Info Analytics, which puts the NPP as leaders in terms of the upcoming race by some 50%. How do you respond to this poll? What's your immediate reaction?
Very well. We have taken it on board. I mean, Musa Dankwa is somebody we respect. He's an institution when it comes to opinion polls. He has done it severally. We respect his polls. We will take it on board. It's something that we are going to work on. I mean, it is going to spare us to work harder, because we've seen that the constituency needs development. They have suffered for some time now and needed serious development. Issue of our education, of their road networks and all that. We are going to send a good message of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to the people in Kpandai, and we will turn the tide. I'm telling you, within the shortest possible time, within next 2 weeks, the next polls that will come out, you will see that NDC is going to lead at that place, because we are zooming in there, and we are going to make sure. Look, the 3% undecided voters, we will go in and make sure that they decide for the NDC. All this thing, we are going to make sure that it work for the NDC in the constituency. So we will take it on board. It's something that we are going to take on the drawing board, analyze it proper, and zoom into the thematic areas that he has mentioned, and make sure that we turn the tide and win the election.
Another key thing that has come up is concerns about political parties' involvement in chaos during the election date. We saw the same thing play out in Ablekuma North. Are we certain that you've called your foot soldiers to order and that this election, should it come on, will be peaceful?
Oh, we have been very peaceful. The NDC has been very, very peaceful. And we've been very supportive to the Electoral Commission and then the security agents. You saw it at this in Akwatia. It went peacefully. We supported the Electoral Commission and then the security agents. We cooperated well with them. And I can assure you, in Kpandai, that is how we are going to cooperate. We are not noted for this kind of thing. It is our opponent. The Ablekuma North we are talking, it was caused by Hawa Kumse. It's not our opponent. She went there with pepper spray and was spraying pepper spray on people's faces. That's how they cause confusion, and then they turn around and want to blame everybody. They said they were not contesting the election at Ablekuma North, but they ended up zooming in there and causing confusion just to mar the beauty of it. That was their intention. When we up our game in Akwatia, they didn't have the footing to misbehave. And that's why the thing went peacefully. I can assure you, in Kpandai, they will not get that luxury too. Now that they are saying they are not coming, they are still following the court case. They will lose the court matter, and they will come and do all manner of press conferences. And before you say Jack, on that day, you see them in there, unprepared, only to be creating confusion at polling station left and right, because they are going to lose.
Rashid, let me bring in Haruna Mohammed at this point in time. Haruna, I'd like to start with your initial reactions to this polls by Global Info Analytics that puts your candidate as the leader of the upcoming polls. That is, if indeed the poll should even come up.
Firstly, I respect your view and the question, but let me clear some foundational errors that have been created by my good brother.
Okay.
You know, when Akwatia, with respect to the Akwatia election petition, when we went through, we relied on the 6th of January Gazette notification. We are well aware of that. When we relied on it and we went, there was no original copy of the 6th of January Gazette notification. Then, when we went to the court, the NDC said that the 6th January Gazette notification is not the right one. They wrote to the Ghana Publishing Company, and Ghana Publishing Company issued to the court, including the Electoral Commission, who submitted the Gazette notification. And this was presented to court, justifying that the 24th Gazette notification document with the number that was indicated for the Gazette notification was the valid one, which the Supreme Court ruled. So if my brother, which is the Gazette notification number 234, if my brother is still referring to the 5th January, can I ask him, his own lawyers, their own lawyers in court, on the 10th, when we met in court, they were asked to produce the original document of the January 6th. They could not, because it has none. It is non-existent. The only January 6th notification that is there, for see, let me indicate to you, is the one that is numbered number 3. And there were 2 Gazette notifications on that day. The first one was the Electoral Commission of Ghana, publication of Parliamentary Election Results 2024, which was at page 35. Then another Gazette notification, which was Environmental Protection Act 2024, Act 1124. These were the 2 Gazette notifications. And I refer you to page 34 of the Gazette notification. We have first constituency Greater Accra, Domi Kwabenya. The second from Greater Accra, Okaikwe Central. The third from Greater Accra was Tema Central. Then one from Bono East, which was Techiman South. These were the 4 Gazette notifications that is certified and sanctioned by the Electoral Commission and published by the Ghana Publishing Company. So there is no any other January Gazette notification. So if my brother is relying on the soft copy that he is keeping, which was being dismissed by his own party in the Akwatia scenario, and the Supreme Court taking a ruling, then he has to change his mind.
Okay.
You've asked
now to my question.
I have not heard you say.
No, I said now to my question. Your response to the polls.
For us, I've always informed you that the NPP is a party that believes in intellectual discussion. We have seen the polls. Musa Dankwa has done several posts, and I've always told you whether it is for us or against us, it should serve as an input to our research data analysis to be able to determine variables will always change at any point in time. And this is the result that he has at this particular time. We are not going to celebrate because it is in our favor. It is only telling us that to push on to get this matter heard at the court, and the determination of the cases at the court will inform our decision as to how we enter into the constituency. So for me, I am not celebrating. I am not saying anything on this particular score. I only thank Musa Danka for continuing doing his research without getting any attack from the NPP. We've never asked him to stop doing any research, unlike the NDC. The use of the word propaganda, I believe that my brother knows it. We don't have propaganda in our party. So we are very careful, we are very meticulous. We make sure that we do things that forms their nature and the process and procedures. So the good people of Kpandai are still waiting to get the outcome in this particular court. And he's also talking about the people need development, they will go and sell the message of development. Mr. Tanko, this is not the time to sell message. This is the time to prove evidence of what you have done. You are 1 year old, and you cannot always go and sell message. The whole of the northern sector, the NDC has done nothing. For the 1 year, they have done nothing, except the appointment of MMDCs. The good people of Kpandai knows very well. You said we haven't done anything. Go and get a court in Kpandai. See the assembly that is being built. Look at the police station that is there. Look at a lot of things, a lot of development projects have been done in Kpandai. Tell them what you have done. You are 1 year old. What have you done in the constituency? You did not do anything even in the northern sector. What we have done is still the legacies. Every road that is being constructed now is our regime. We awarded them. We have not done anything for the people. You are 1 year old. Stop selling message. Sell evidence. That is what you have to do.
Okay. Thank you, Haruna Mohammed. He's Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. I'll give Tanko Computer. Do I still have him with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'll give you just 1 minute to respond to the concerns. Do you indeed have that documentation that proves that you filed that case on the 6th of January? Do you have the documents?
Yes, we have. We have the document. We have everything. We have it. We have the Gazette notification.
Okay.
This one was pending in court. At the case management, if the document we presented was not proper, I'm sure it was strike out. The trial judge would have strike it out. And I'm sure the NPP lawyer was seated there who represented him. The second respondent, first respondent lawyer, which is the NPP. He was seated at the court, there's a case management period. They did it, put everything together, and started the matter. We cross-examined them, they cross-examined our witnesses and all that for 11 months. This matter never came up, none of them. None of this matter came out. And I'm saying I have his written address, the one that he used to address the court before judgment. And there's no paragraph, no page that he ever mentioned issue of our distance not being competent because we filed outside the time of the Gazette. We don't know. There's nothing like that. So I don't know what he's going to tell the Supreme Court tomorrow, that I know this problem, but yet I still decided to follow the case for 11 months. And I just wanted the ruling to come, and then I now go to Supreme Court and ask that they should quash it. Who does that?
Thank you, Rashid Tanko. At this point, I have to let you go. He's Deputy Director for Elections and IT for the NDC. Earlier, I spoke to Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, as well as a rep from the Electoral Commission. They tell us they are ready for the upcoming rerun should the court not rule otherwise. Indeed, the elections will be coming up on the 30th of December. Well, still on politics, the former Dome-Kwamenya MP Adwoa Safo has sparked controversy within the NPP over who should lead the party into the next general election. In comments attributed to her, she's alleged to have suggested that choosing Kennedy Japan as the party's flag bearer would effectively end her political career. Adwoa Safo, who has 2 children with the former Asin Central MP, has since become the center of a heated debate with rival camps interpreting her remarks as an endorsement of their respective positions. Watch this.
Politician and an honorable Kennedy Japan or your politician. Who could do? Minister delegates, baby, who could a polling station executive? And our year into your polling station executive. Mr. Obian Kranage. Obian Kranage or politics. Obian Kranage. Iti honorable Ken Kranage. Okrani ambition. Mesumi Kramadwin. Mesumi Yaman Manyosem. Na Manyosem na Obia Eyeno. Obia kwa baby and who day. Messidi, Obia kwa baby and who day. Dr. Wachika Sauka Sembi. Maintain honorable Kennedy Japan. Menene wamba pori and wofefo mienu. Bemu abako and obabako. It maintain honorable Kennedy Japan. But and your family and friends and I hear who go do? Messi opposition na yaba fie no e wo se ye besua nyansa o ya kotena ban mu ye family and friends any ye ne iti amanyo sem a ye wo party level no me Adwoa Safo me ti me nya den esan se ye kwa ban mu ko ye bi ebo aye ya na ata mo aye na me mamu example bi me started contesting to be MP in the year 2007. Atene we di amanyo semunimu a wokuo mu abesinne. My serving as member of parliament for 12 years. My deputy majority leader. My minister for procurement. My minister for gender. It may be some say, men somewhere, and our honorable Kennedy Japan, so I am a dear, Meboa. Men can't say, or no never fa. Nemom ye assume say, Wafa. Now I got now Jubilee House. Na mimi CV edda ho ya ka CV ya so ko pa adwuma na mo hwe adwuma amaye ene somo amaso oman yi ene mama ne ko na se dru ho na obetimi ahwemanimu aka se oba menene wo mamienu my appointing as minister for BB. A Jabeto Ghana. Who go do? the Kennedy Japan, me no amena wumi no. Oh yeah. It's my political career is at stake. My future is at stake, and my future is with Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud.
Well, let's bring in spokesperson for the two camps. Join us now via Zoom is Kwesi Kwarteng. He is spokesperson for Kennedy Japan. I also have on the line Dr. Ikia Mwako. She is spokesperson for Dr. Bawumia's camp. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. I'd like to start with Dr. Ikia. This video in circulation, what's your immediate response to this? Do you see this as a subtle endorsement of your campaign? You have to unmute for us to hear you clearly. Well, we're just trying to get Dr. Ikia to unmute. She is one of the team members for the campaign team for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They are currently on the road. It's just countdown to decision time, which is happening in January next year, where the delegates will be choosing who exactly will be steering the affairs of the NPP. I also have with me Kwesi Kwarteng, who is spokesperson for Kennedy Japan. Doc, I'm hoping I can hear you clearly now. You were just making your point. Okay, we'll also work the lines to reconnect to Dr. Ikia. Let me bring in Kwesi Kwarteng. I'm hoping his connection is better. Kwesi, I'd like to start with your initial response to this video in circulation.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers. Let me state emphatically that Ken does not want to be the president of Ghana just to advance individual people's political ambitions and future aspirations. He wants to become a president of Ghana to solve problems, the problems that confront us as a society, the problems of unemployment, the problems of jobs. You get to hospitals and the situation is very bizarre. You pass on our roads and there's nothing to write home about. People are dying through road accidents. Number of youth employment, and of course, if you want to state the morass of challenges that confront us as a state, you can list a number of them and may never come to an end. And so Ken's view, or of course, or his ambition of becoming a president stems from a place of genuine concern to come and solve the problems that confront us as a state. At no point is Ken indeed coming to advance the future ambitions of any person whatsoever. And so Adwoa was not wrong when she stated that when Ken comes, he's not going to reward her with appointments, despite the fact that publicly and openly Ken is known to have two cases with her. So Adwoa only emphasize Ken's strengths, Ken's character trait that we have always been preaching about, that he's bold, he's assertive, he's an independent-minded person, he's strong, there is no way he's going to engage himself in nepotism. So we are very grateful to Honorable Adwoa Safo for again making our campaign very smooth, reiterating the very thing that we have been talking about Ken, the principles that he holds, the fact that one person is able to challenge his own party, criticize his own party when things are wrong. And of course, even Adwoa, despite the fact that she happens to find herself in a different camp, today put the icing on the cake. And of course, emphasize that very point once again, that despite the fact that Ken have a very strong relationship with her, not just any other relationship, but a relationship that transcends the ordinary relationship to the extent that there are two important babies. She made it clear that when Ken comes, Ken is not going to be nepotistic. So I think this is something that we should be happy about as a country, and of course, as delegates. I also have to send a very strong signal and message to all of us that he's the man that at a time like this, where the past government was accused of practicing family and friends government, at a time like this, we may have to also consider some of these testimonies coming from opposing camps led by the Honorable Adwoa Safo, who I so much respect. Of course, I mean, they may have their own issues. I'm not so much interested in that. My issue is to be able to address the core issues that has been raised. And for me, I don't think Adwoa was wrong. Adwoa really reiterated the very principles that we have been speaking about Ken. And we appreciate that. We want more of it. We want more of the testimonies. Ken has always been genuine. Ken doesn't pretend. Ken has always come out very strong, very boldly to condemn a lot of things that is wrong. Ken has indicated on several platforms that whether his son, whether his friend, if you mess up in his government, he's going to let the law deal with you. I mean, something that other candidates have not been able to be bold about. So if today Adwoa is coming out with some of these remarks, well, I think it's just a food for thought for the people of Ghana. Maybe for now, that's what I would say. Thank you.
And how is the campaign trail going for you on the ground? Where are you currently and where are you heading to?
So far, so good. Ken currently is in Greater Accra. We are going to hit Domi Kwabena. And I'm very confident that we are also going to get a Domi Kwabena votes. Massive of them. Especially looking at the recent account and testimony that has been given by the Honorable Adwoa Safo. We are very confident that when Ken his Domi Kwabena, we are going to get most of the numbers also in our favor. Currently, Ken is in Greater Accra, like earlier we stated. Just yesterday to myself, I was also with the Honorable Natoshi team from the Western region. Ken's wife, Madam Christiana Japan, is also moving. Of course, we also have a number of the MPs who are also doing a lot of the operational job. Beyond that, too, we have most of the teams who are also on the ground and they are also working. So we are very confident, very, very confident that hopefully, and of course, with the blessing of God, 31st of January, Ken will come out victorious. And most importantly, I have to end on this note that when it comes to some of this leadership and, of course, the movement of it, we must always remember that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So when people feel, oh, Ken this, Ken that, we'll leave it to Ghanaians to decide. But Ghanaians are very discerning. Delegates are very rational. Delegates can be able to read between the lines. They're able to differentiate between right and wrong. They're able to differentiate between people's individual, selfish ambitions and aspirations. And of course, the man who also stands for the generality of the Ghanaians. And most importantly, you know, this thing, where is Dr. Baumia? The sole beneficiary of all these, how do you call it? These crude verbal trading within our media space. He happens to be the sole beneficiary of it. Today, Abronya is insulting Ken. The next day is Adwoa Safo. The next day is Koka. The sole beneficiary is there, the Holy Saint. We wish him the best. But all that we can say is that we have a party to protect. So on record, Ken will not be responding to some of these things. But I'm saying that when it comes to the specific matter of Adwoa Safo, she never said anything wrong. Most important thing is that she reiterated the very principles that we have been preaching about Ken. And we end it on that note. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwesi Kwarteng, spokesperson for Kennedy Japan. Let me bring in Dr. Ikuya now. I'd like to start with your initial reaction to that video.
Oh, hi. And let me just say good afternoon to everybody watching. We are in the Upper East region, and it has become very clear to me that we have a lot of viewers up north. So let me just say good afternoon to everybody. We are currently in the Bolga East district. We've moved from Nabda. I'm sure I got that wrong. Please forgive me. But yeah, so we're in the enclave trying to clear up the Upper East region. And so greetings to everybody. And we just came from the Upper West region. So baraka to all my people there as well. First, I could just say that I think Kwesi Kwarteng's job is very difficult. You know, Honorable Kennedy Japan is on the record to have said that he'll be president at the job. So I find it very difficult that he's trying to now spin some very selfless, godlike character for Honorable Ken. Number two, on the matter of insults and someone being the sole beneficiary of insults, Kwesi Kwarteng himself is not innocent on the matter. I can send numerous screenshots of unprintable lies he has said about His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They have Ernest Owusu-Bempah on their side, who also says very unprintable things I cannot even repeat on your very esteemed network because they are just simply too nasty and defamatory. Then they have another gentleman named Alex Tete. The name goes on and on and on. In fact, they move beyond attacking His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to attack some of us, his spokespersons, his aides. So let's not pretend on this very august platform that you are the victim in this matter. Let's not do that.
I'm quite interested in how you found those screenshots, though. If you would let us have
all
it.
On the media, I'm sure that you've also seen them, and I don't think Kwesi Kwarteng is going to deny, because then I can start listing the things each of them has said. So to move on from there, we've all watched the video. It's very interesting the kind of spin they have tried to put on it, and you can see the direction of that message that they are trying to sell came directly from their camp, which is spin. So what that means is that Kwesi Kwarteng is doing a very good job as a spokesperson for Honorable Kennedy Japan. Kudos to him. But the truth remains the same. If you listen to the video in its entirety, and I'm not here in any way, shape, or form to defend Honorable Adwoa Safo. She speaks for herself, so I would advise that after this program, you call her so that she can explain exactly what she wanted to say. I can only listen to the video that you played for me and then tell you what I think about it. What she went on to say is that there are certain polling stations where a husband works and a wife works. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When we say family and friends, it is when you haven't done anything to earn a position and you are given it by mere virtue of being related to someone. But if there are two people in the same family and they both work to achieve something, shouldn't they both get something? If we are talking about that being a meritocracy, you shouldn't also be disadvantaged because you are both doing the same kind of work. I believe that's so. So I'm sure she was trying to build up. That's the explanation I got out of it. And so if she says that, if she goes out, I don't see how you're able to spin that to say that somebody is principled into any way. So I do believe that Honorable Adwoa Safo was campaigning, and kudos to her. We are also focused on our campaign. Our message is sinking, is going well. I also did see another thing she was quoted to have said, that we should not elect anybody who is known for insulting women. Because you see, we have to be very serious and circumspect as a political party going into the 2028 election. We are going to the entirety of Ghanaians who are very conservative. And we cannot deny the fact that the Bawumia campaign has been very noble, and we have not tried to attack the personality of our opponents. So we haven't really tried to bring out a lot of the things that is on record for them to have said. That will not bar the NDC from doing the same thing if it so happens that any other candidate is presented. They would bring everything. We're in the game of politics. Even some of the things you have not done will be said against you. So let's not pretend like some of these things will not come out. But yes, Honorable Adwoa Safo also did mention that we should not, we should be very circumspect in electing somebody who has, sort of offended a lot of groups, including women. And so if she is espousing her own views as to why she prefers one candidate over the other, I do believe that first, it will be very instructive if we could watch the whole video for more context. But from what I see, I think she's doing her own thing, campaigning to the people in Kpandai.
Oh dear, we seem to have lost Dr. Ikea, hoping we can reconnect the line so she can make that point. But if I still have Kwesi Kwarteng with me, let me go to him briefly just to respond to some of the concerns being raised by Dr. Ikea. Kwesi, what's your response to allegations that you've been using unprintable words on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
The video was...
Oh, okay. We have Dr. Ikea back now. Do we have her now? We do not. Is Kwesi Kwarteng also there? Okay. We'll try and reconnect our lines while we're having that technical challenge to speak to Kwesi Kwarteng. as well as Dr. Ikpia. You're still watching The Pulse. When we return, we'll have a conversation on this concerns being raised about the Office of the Special Prosecutor. They say that their budget is inadequate. We'll tell you why after this quick turn. To stay with us here on The Pulse. Now, we are going to be talking about something very interesting in a matter of minutes. If you just tune in, we have been discussing some key issues, especially within the New Patriotic Party. We lost connection to Dr. Ikpia and Kwesi Kwarteng. We're reconnecting our lines when we have them. We'll have that conversation. But moving on, the long-debated legislation of commercial motorcycle transport, popularly known as Okada, is set to take effect, following Parliament's passage of the Road Traffic Amendment Bill 25, with the government assuring us that there will be strict enforcement of the road traffic regulation to safeguard public safety. While the bill passed on Wednesday, December 10, will legalize the commercial use of motorcycles, tricycles and quadricles once the President gives his assent to that bill. Well, speaking to journalists in Parliament, the Transport Minister Joseph Bukari-Nikbe said that DVLA, as well as the National Road Safety Authority, would intensify enforcement to ensure compliance with the new law if it comes into force.
Going to carry people behind you, you have to respect yourself, you have to respect your passengers such that you can continue to be in business. And the good is that the law has prescribed punishment for road traffic offenders, and that includes the Okada riders who will get the opportunity, whether we are going to create special lanes for them or not. I believe as we develop as a country, it will come along with some of these provisions that we will have. I know the Minister for Roads and Highways is very passionate about road development and road design. His experience in that industry is one of the advantages for us as a government. And the government's resolve to go through this big push and bring me more projects, it is our belief and hope that we will have some of the new roads that are going to be constructed to have these designs that will create some lanes for the motorcycle riders. However, the discipline aspect of it remains with the rider. Whether we use the same road with vehicles or we have separate lanes for them, you still have to be disciplined. And the good is that we have a legal framework that will bind you or that would be used to bring punishment on you should you offend any of our laws.
But what exactly are the new changes to the Road Traffic Amendment Bill 25? On your screens now, we have highlights of the new legislature. Should it be passed now? This is some of the proposed amendments for the new bill. Some new provisions in there: reduction of alcohol blood concentration limit from 0.08% to 0.05% for drivers. Ban on children under 12 years from occupying the front seat of a vehicle. Children in the back seat must be restrained using approved child safety equipment. Now, when it comes to the use of motorcycles and tricycles for commercial purposes, they must be licensed. There's also the reduction in minimum age for commercial driving from 25 to 21 years. Mandatory safety equipment standards for seat belts, children, restraints, and helmets. Vehicle registration numbers assigned to owners rather than vehicles. Expanded trade license plate framework to allow multiple approved formats. Mandatory vehicle emission testing, which includes roadside inspections. And this is put together by the Joy News Research team, just tabling some of the key provisions in this amended bill. Now, we know that the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, they are seeking to, fully register more than 4 million new and existing vehicles nationwide by December 2027, and the new technology-driven number plate system The 2-year exercise is scheduled to begin on the 1st of January 2025 and will introduce RFID-enabled number plates and zonal codes to enhance vehicle tracking, security surveillance and accountability. While the system is expected to strengthen traffic enforcement, some motorists are calling for further improvements to ensure an effective rollout. But the big question we're asking this afternoon here on The Pulse is, what exactly are the implications for motoring, the public, really? Well, join me in the studio now with answers is Justice Kujo. He is Greater Accra Regional Manager for DVLA. We appreciate your time. You've set an ambitious goal. 2 years. What are you seeking to achieve with this new mandate?
Yeah, thank you very much. So what we are trying to achieve is, one, we want to have a credible database in terms of number of vehicles that are in a country. Most of the vehicles that we say about 4 million or 2 million vehicles, some in our register, they exist in the register, but in reality, they are not in existence. Because some are involved in accident, some are bound or some are parked in the various homes by the owners. They are no more in use. So what we are trying to do is that we don't take record of all vehicles. 2, we want to make sure that uncustomed and stolen vehicles cannot be registered in our database. So people go to neighboring countries to purchase a vehicle. They don't pay duty. They come back to the country, they just fix some number plate on it, and then they are in town. So sometimes you can see one number plate being on 2 or 3 vehicles, and then it becomes a problem that who owns the vehicle. So this registration that we are going to do will also help. The next one is about the insecurity in terms of armed robbery, able to determine who is the owner of the vehicle. So now when you register, the vehicle will be tailored to you as a person. So if your vehicle number is used, or your vehicle is used to commit any crime or armed robbery or hit and run, what we do is that the system will be able to fish you out to know this vehicle belongs to Mr. A or Mr. B. So that is the purpose of this new registration.
And you say that you're coming up with a new technology-driven number plate system. How will this system work effectively?
Yeah, so the system is automatic generated. So now the government is planning to come out with a new way of towing system on our road. Now we are trying to avoid human beings sitting in a cubicles or cage to do the money collection. So it will be an automatic system of embedded chip or the FRID system. That's when the camera picks your number plate. It tells you if you are to use the motorway, probably you are supposed to buy a toll ticket for the month, or you should have an amount on your card that when the system picks it, we can easily detect how much you have used in terms of toll. If you don't have, then a bill will be sent to you at the end of the month or the week.
But you issue the number plates, really. Don't you have that data existing in your system? Why do you have to do a new registration altogether?
Yeah, so the current system that we are using does not have the embedded or the FRID system that can easily pick up the details. And then most of the vehicle owners have also purchased a vehicle. They have not done change of ownership. So it still bears the name of the old owner. So on this note, we are trying to put things together. We are doing something we call onboarding. So the onboarding is that all the existing vehicles from the beginning 1995 to the year 2023, we are taking the images, biometrics of the owners related to your Ghana card, and then onboard all of them. So it can easily pick up who is the owner of the vehicle.
I see. And how do you plan to do this? Are individuals mandated to come to your office when this exercise commences in January, or there's a way you can track some of these vehicles? Because some of these vehicles are already in the garage. They're yet to be sold. What's the plan?
Yeah, so currently what we are trying to do now is that we are making sure that all the existing vehicles, with the exception of 2024, 2025, we have started our onboarding. So anyone who has a vehicle which is already registered, you can drive into any nearby DVLA office, and your vehicle details will be on board, and then we carry on the activity. Those one which is not registered are not part of the vehicle that we are doing on board. So next year, if God permits, we start the registration, all those ones will be captured.
And I can see that you're also going to be tracking the vehicles. As a user, I'm worried about my safety. When DVLA has my data and is tracking my every move.
It's not by we tracking it, but what we're trying is to be able to identify the owner of the vehicle.
Okay.
So it means that you can't give your vehicle to a friend to use for a funeral or a party, misuse it and drive it anyhow. When the person commits an offense, a ticket will be sent to you in case commit any traffic offense or if there's any unlawful activity. What we do is that a ticket will be sent to you because your Ghana card, your fingerprints, and your details are there. So we should be able to identify that you are the true owner of the vehicle. So as and when and who used the vehicle at that point,
I see. So I cannot give out my car to anyone to drive with this new system.
No, you can give, but you have to make sure that who you are giving will put up a good habit, not to misuse it against regulation on the road.
And then with all the DV plates, what's the plan with those vehicles? Based on this new system that you're rolling out, what's the plan?
Okay, so one thing we would just want to achieve is that Ghanaians, most of us, purchase vehicle by year of my registration. So we are now taking up your registration after the people are not registering their vehicle because they felt like if my car is registered in 2025, the next 2 years when I'm selling, nobody's ready to buy. So now we are taking the year out of it. So now you'll be able to know when was the vehicle registered. It's only on DVLA database we'll be able to tell you this vehicle was registered 2026, 2027 or year below.
But then for me, if I'm going to buy a vehicle, I want to know what year and they actually did the registration process. It helps me to know if it's too old on the road. So if you're taking out that data, it will harm me, will it not?
We are not taking it out.
Okay.
But what we are saying that if you still want to inquire when the vehicle was registered, then you have to come to DVL.
What's the process if I want to require that kind of information from DVLA?
Well, so in the first place, you cannot just come to DVL say that, oh, I want to check car A or car B. One, there should be a consent from whoever is selling the vehicle to you. Because our duty is to keep people's information confidential. So when you come, you want to do any inquiries about a vehicle, I will not be able to give because you are not the owner. So then you have to come to DVLA with whoever owns the vehicle. Then the owner will say, okay, this person wants to purchase my vehicle. He wants to know when the vehicle was registered, what the vehicle was genuinely registered. And then we can give out the information needed.
And there are concerns about the Goro boys in this system. How are you dealing with that, with this new system?
So that is where we are saying that if a vehicle is now aligned or assigned to your individual details, a Goro boy cannot use your fingerprints to effect any change of ownership. Currently, the system we are using, if you register your car 2024, 2025, if you sell the car and you don't do the biometrics of your vehicle, there was no way or there's no way anybody can effect change of ownership without your knowledge. So that's it.
So will this phase out those who do the endorsement and Goro boys as well with this new system?
The endorsement aspect is that there's a new technology in terms of what we are going to do, the endorsement. So then the existing embossers have to up their game. They have to get a new software in order to meet the requirement of the new endorsement system. The Goro boys are there. The Goro boys, we have a genuine one. So currently, my CEO, when he came, he said, one, we have genuine Goro boys who are doing an activity, helping individuals who don't have enough time to undertake ABCD. So then they will use them. But the issue is that they are not doing any fictitious job. But there's a need for us to recognize them that this is a genuine people who are undertaking an activity. So there's a process to fine-tune the way they undertake their activities at the DVLA premises.
And that process is ongoing?
Yes.
I see. Now, there are also concerns, now that you're moving to a digital platform, there are also concerns that there could be individuals who could infiltrate the system, especially the cyber hackers and what have not. How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, so in every system that you want to integrate, there's going to be people who also plan to infiltrate in the system. But there's a lot of underground work which has been done. There's a lot of security system we have put in place for people not to be able to have access to the database because it's a national security issue. So things are being put in a proper perspective.
And how will you ensure enforcement, especially because you are dealing with individuals who are working, the working class, they're part of it. So how do you ensure enforcement that within this 2-year timeline, you would have hit your target?
Yeah, so then let me go back again. As at the year of 1995, we were using a different vehicle nomenclature. We have maybe ER and a number. So 1995, we started using JR or ER and start end with the alphabet A. So from 95 to 2008, we exhausted A to Z. What did we do? We then have to move from 09. We are counting 2025. We realized that no, we still keep on changing. A time will come, the numbers will get exhausted. So what do we do? That requires that we are supposed to introduce a new numbering system. So the new numbering system is going to be that a car is registered in Greater Accra. When you come to Greater Accra, currently we have 4. We have Accra, we have Tema, we have Weja, and then now Adent. So now, Tema is normally using GT. Accra is using JR. Weja is using GW. Adent is using AD. So you can have maybe, if your car is 1, you can have 1 JR01. It means that the car was registered in Accra. You can have 1 GT01. Your car was registered in Tema. You can have 1 AD01. Your number was registered in Adenta. Or you can have 01 or 1 JW01. Your car is registered in Weja. Same as Kumasi, Ashanti. So you can have the blood-headed indicating that, AS or Ashanti region. But beneath it, you can have Agona, Kumasi, Mampong, Bekwai, if you just say, and all the stations. So that's how it's going to be.
How would you ensure compliance, especially for motorcycles?
Yes. So now, let's go back to what the says in the law which has been passed. Currently, motorbikes are not registered for commercial purposes.
Okay.
So now the law is passed. Every commercial motorbike is going to be given an identified number plate. Now all the motorbikes are blue number plates. But now that we are going to register commercial motorbike, motorbikes are going to have a number plate, which signifies that this plate is for commercial purposes. Now, every rider ought to have a license, rider's license. Every rider have to undergo a training for the purpose, the activity that you are going to take. So it means that you cannot ride for the riding's sake. You ought to have a license. As the minister said, each and every one ought to belong to an association. So if you belong to an association, it will help you or to help us to be able to identify individuals, whatever they do in terms of riding. So like the ride-hailing companies, Uber, Yango, and those ones. You can't operate Uber without registering with them. You can't operate Yango without registering with them. You can't operate any vehicle without being a member of a certain category. So that's what the law is saying.
And with this new technology, how much is it costing us as a nation?
To be sincere, this is beyond my level. Yes, so the only person who can be able to answer the cost of these things are my management team.
Okay, but let me bring it down probably to something that you can answer. If I'm going to be registering my vehicle with this new system, how much will it cost me? Can you give me a breakdown of different vehicles and how much it may cost?
So currently, DVLA and the take or our fees are always approved by Act of Parliament.
Okay.
So we are going to base our charges on approved fee by the Parliament. So currently, new bill have been read. Bills is going to come out. Fees and charges are going to be approved. So based on whatever they are going to approve is what DVL is going to charge.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And for people watching, what is your final words to them as we wrap up the conversation?
Yeah, so my final word is that since DVL is undertaking new activity, if you have a vehicle, kindly visit any DVL office to onboard your existing vehicle. Come with your document, come with your Ghana card, would undertake those onboarding. A picture of the vehicle uploaded, and then your database will be in a system when we are changing. It is not now time that you are supposed to pass through a lot of regular activities.
And it will officially start on the 1st of January.
So then, for the onboarding is already started.
Okay.
New registration will be started early January.
Okay.
Then the new re-registration will start from April to 2027.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time here on The Pulse. Now, you're still watching The Pulse. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. Stay with us here on The Pulse. Now, imagine carrying your 2-year-old child on your back through airports. Imagine being forced to raise tens of thousands of dollars for a bone marrow transplant abroad and then returning home after countless medical interventions in India and Singapore to watch that child die. That's the story of a mother whose son fought acute leukemia, the cancer of the blood. Here are excerpts from Joy News' latest special assignment, Leukemia, Last Chance Abroad, produced by my colleague Emmanuel Jivenu.
If I had married and I had not given birth, oh, this woman has not given birth. And I gave birth to watch him for 4 years, to suffer. It felt like a bad joke on 1st April. It was like a very bad, terrible joke on 1st April. Of all the pranks on 1st April,
1st April was no prank for Elizabeth's family. For her, motherhood came with a gift. And then with grief. Her first child, Jason, was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia before his 2nd birthday. What followed was a 4-year battle, a battle that consumed every joy, every savings, and eventually every breath.
I looked at it and it said, a representation of diffuse non-Hodgkin lymphoma. I just said, Jesus. So I quickly came in and I said, Richie, a cancer.
Let me take it out. You let me take it out. Relax. Let me take it out. Don't mind them.
The diagnosis hits like a thunder. Treatments began in Ghana. Elizabeth put her career on hold. The family poured every cedi into drugs, scans, tests, and admissions.
The moment they said they are suspecting the leukemia, Dr. Tego says if it is a leukemia, then... So immediately she gets up and then she starts chasing the pathologist for the bone marrow results. She will go there, she will call the boss, they give her the runaround, and then finally she calls and she says, you know what, I can read the slides myself. If you are not ready, just let me come, have a look at the slides, see and count it myself. Or just, the report is not ready, I understand, but let's have a discussion, tell me what it is. So she goes to the pathologist and then they do the sit down. She says, just let me see them. Then she looks at it and says, hallelujah, it's acute lymphoblastic.
And it often affects children, unfortunately. It doesn't mean that adults can get it, but it's commonest in children.
And then they started measuring the bumps that were on his body. It had started to shrink. I said, give the very first dose. And I said, so what next? And she said, we pray. I said, we pray? She said, yes, we pray hard.
The cancer is cruel. After 2 years, it returned. This time, hidden in Jason's testicles, the only option left, a bone marrow transplant abroad.
And she says, I am so sorry, but your options, bone marrow transplant. I said, is it not that bone marrow transplant that people are saying that it costs so much? But how do you expect us to go and do bone marrow transplant? It's not like we are now starting the treatment. If we were now starting it, maybe we would have gotten the money you're asking for. But after 2 years, cancer treatment is not cheap.
The fight was no longer private.
The 20 cedis. Some people sent as much as 2 cedis.
It takes a lot of people, a lot of time to raise funds and a lot of time to take people abroad, by which time sometimes it's too late, they can't find a match.
India was cold, foreign, and overwhelming. But it was also the beginning of a new fight. Treatment started immediately and failed. The first line, then the second, each more brutal than the last. Then came a silver of hope. Jason's younger brother, barely 1 year old, was a full match for the transplant.
Bone marrow they've put in his body, it's already at 98%. They just need 100% peak. And 98% is actually very good. So she looks at it and she's like, we've done it. We are there.
Yeah, we are going.
I said, JJ, they said we should go home. I said, going home. I was happy to be out of that confinement after about 3.5, 4 months. I was just happy to be coming out. November, Jason finishes eating. He says, Mommy, my stomach. This boy starts screaming. And I called Dr. Tego and I said, Lily, the cancer is back. Oh. She said, Jesus, oh God, not again. Oh God, not again. That's all she kept saying. I said, Dr. Tego, we are heading towards clinical trial. She said, yes. All the things I had gone to do in India, from smuggling rice cooker pots into the ward to cook for my son, to chasing people around with bills, cancelling bills. I'm going to do it all over again. The only country that was left was Singapore. At the time, I didn't have 2 cedis. Talk of 3 cedis to even book my tickets to go to Singapore. I didn't have shishi.
With help from sponsors, Elizabeth made the trip. Broke, tired, and desperate. In Singapore, things only got harder.
They took a vote, and a clinical trial said it would be a waste of resources and money to do what they know would fail. So the bone marrow was the only person who was holding on to faith, but it's not up to her. So they took a vote, and they decided that it wasn't the best use of their medicine. So Jason lost. So what that meant was that was the end of the road. Jason has fought so hard, but it's time to let him rest. I said, okay.
Jason returned to Ghana to spend his final days. 2 months later, his 4-year courageous battle came to a peaceful close.
I didn't register, say, oh yeah, help me, mommy. Then he did this. It didn't even click. I knew he was gone, I just couldn't process it. And I lifted the cloth. That was the final thing I did. His stomach was not rising or falling. I just covered him again. And there's this Nzima thing my mom used. My mom says, Jacodio. And I said, Marshall, Jacodio. Because I had to have prayer. And then I went out of the ward. And then I did. And then the doctor did this. And then they came. When they came, I wasn't crying. I was just sitting down quietly. That's all.
Well, quite a touching story, and that's why we're doing the campaign here in Ghana, to ensure that we have a center that can deal with this right here in Ghana. And I'm sure you have been monitoring all our social media space. The details are there, how you can be a part of this to help donate to build Ghana's first center. And that's even coming up on your screens right now. I'm told by my directors, yeah, you can donate right now as we speak. We're doing this in collaboration with Leukemia Foundation because we believe that indeed it is time that Ghana gets its own clinical genetics center here in Ghana. My name is Adwoa Safo. Have a pleasant day as you enjoy the rest of our programs. Good afternoon.